pretty ordinary week for Joe Biden, of course, from a public perspective, and it's going to be interesting to see how it does impact on his legacy, pardoning his son Hunter, which I think a lot of people expected he would do, and then falling asleep on the job.
Well, that's Joe Biden's presidency in a nutshell, right? He told us for months that he would not pardon Hunter Biden for either his tax or gun charges, of which he is awaiting sentencing. That being said, over the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States, the president made this quick decision and then announced the pardon when he was already flying overseas for that visit to Angola. Again, when you think about Joe Biden, he wanted to restore these norms, not only with our foreign allies, but with way politics is covered and handled and consumed by the U.S. electorate here at home. I think he's objectively failed in that regard. I mean, he talked about how Donald Trump was a huge threat to democracy for 4 years, yet Trump won in a landslide election over Kamala Harris. This is the Joe Biden presidency. He is not going to have the legacy that he wants, and he will be known as a career politician who ended his term in office giving favors to his own family rather than people who have been wrongfully convicted or might be facing nonviolent drug offenses, which he has promised to reform, yet has not made good on that vow yet. Again, this is just Joe Biden in a nutshell.
And it is very interesting to watch as Donald Trump makes his appointments. It looks like Ron DeSantis is going to hit the streamline and be in there somewhere.
It's certainly a possibility. We do know in my conversations with Trump officials that DeSantis, despite the enmity between him and Trump during the Republican primary earlier this year, they appear to have repaired their relationship, certainly more than it seemed publicly over the last few months, considering DeSantis really didn't campaign for Trump at all after leaving the race. He is in consideration for the Secretary of Defense position should Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's first nominee, not make it through the confirmation process. He was also on the initial list to be the next Secretary of State, but of course that post will be filled with Marco Rubio, yet another one of these Florida Republicans, of which DeSantis and Trump are obviously the top dogs in that club. But again, this is something that we didn't exactly expect DeSantis being welcomed back into the fold, especially because he has past beef with Susie Wiles, Donald Trump's right-hand woman. She will be the incoming chief of staff at the White House and was the co-manager of Trump's campaign. DeSantis had her fired from her lobbying job back in 2018, 2019, and sort of accused her of leaking secrets from his inner circle to the press. I would be surprised if DeSantis gets a cabinet-level post, but conservatives here in the United States want all of their warriors in this new administration, and Ron DeSantis is certainly on the top of that list.
Yeah, and with that military background, it sort of does make sense, doesn't it? That's going to be some interesting meetings, some interesting tea parties, I would suggest, with all these people coming together. Christian, it's always good to chat.
Take care, Tim.